You guys all know that Adult Swim sign-up bumper. The dawn is your enemy. But there's a reason they don't show it anymore. The last day the bump was used as a sign-off, instead of a normal running time of about 9 seconds, it ran for an extended period of time until the automated service was overtaken by manual operation. We all know the sound that shook our childhoods or teen years. The resonating metal, the rumbles, and the sound of metal scraping against metal. Feel free to look it up if you're a bit rusty. Now, when the audio cut, it doesn't sound complete. It's not finished, not over. The producers at ASCN were purposely cutting off the rest of the sound, and for good reason. The rest that followed was the exact reason why you'll never hear this bumper again on the air. Once again, it's only supposed to run for about 9 seconds, and this is a rough transcript of the usual audio. Resonating metal, followed by a rumble, followed by scraping metal, and another rumble. And bumper. So what could you put together with that? Nothing rings a bell, right? Exactly. This part they used is utilized effectively to scare off children that are still tuned into Adult Swim. It even gives adults goosebumps because it's that good. It's closely rivaled with the hammer clinks in the William Street production card in Nightmare Fuel. Getting back on topic, usually, a Cartoon Network employee would enter the control room left by an Adult Swim crew member and take over for the day. It wasn't quite the case that day, however. The usual man scheduled to cue the sign-in and such programming for CNN for some reason did not start up the day's schedule. No one knows if he did this purposely and whether or not his contract was terminated. This was the least of problems CN had at the time. What followed the common 9 seconds was an extended 2-minute broadcast of some of the most horrifying audio ever heard on public television. The metal continued to resonate, and the scraping continued. Slowly, an uncontrollable sobbing came clear. Not one person was crying, but a multitude of people were yelling and screaming. As the metal scraped, the screaming grew louder. The sound was getting louder in general. Soon, you could hear the slicing of flesh, the grinding of bones, and the guttural death rattles of people dying. All across the United States, millions of children and adults were being exposed to what sounded like a barbaric mass murder. People were calling in all across the country, crying or screaming or begging for it to be turned off. It couldn't be. Someone hooked up the bump to be a rogue broadcast, which disabled the ability to change channels. Anyone tuned in would see it on every single channel. For a grueling 2 minutes, the sounds of over 100 people being tortured to death played on. People assumed the control room was finally taken back, and the bump was shut down, ending a traumatic experience no one could undoubtedly forget. Word is that, in the last few moments, as the resonating metal grew into an unbearable volume, the channel showed the peaking sun winking at the viewer, just before the channel cut to bars and tones. How was Cartoon Network going to cover this up? No one knows their exact tactic to this day. Multiple theories have been thought of, ranging from a preemptive cease and desist to possible news articles to a subliminal viewer hypnosis over the following weeks. While all public evidence does not officially exist, Cartoon Network officials do acknowledge a hijacking of the channel's frequency on the day, but go into no further detail. Word is, however, that somewhere hidden in an Onion site, accessible only via Tor, is a recording of the full bump.